Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be short and sweet. This is the last video that I'm publishing before the new year, and there are just a couple of things that I might be seeing on the horizon. Now, I have never done this before, and I also am not really on board with a lot of beauty trends or what's happening in the industry. I am a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, and I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to that sort of thing. But there are a couple of things about which I have an inkling. Before I forget, if you're curious, today's eyeshadow look was filmed. I will link it down below in the description box. I absolutely love it. It is the end of a little series I did at the beginning of the month where I was focusing on eyeshadows that all start with the same letter per look. So every eyeshadow that I'm wearing on my eyes today begins with the letter S. It's a series I'm calling One Letter Looks. It's linked down below if you're curious. I want to talk briefly about my predictions for 2024, and you'll have to let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I have been a little bit inundated with new releases lately, and I'm actually kind of weary of them. I am a little bit tired of the constant flooding of the market with new eyeshadow palettes. Palettes. There are so many, and I've gotten to the point where I just kind of want it to slow down significantly, and I want to enjoy what I have. Now, my channel focuses quite heavily on older eyeshadow palettes. Almost everything I buy is secondhand, but there are still a few things that have caught my eye, or a few brands that I'm particularly watching and have certain expectations of in the new year. But before we get to the eyeshadow palettes, which is of course the thing that I'm most interested in, let me quickly mention that Pantone has announced their color of 2024. I'm pretty sure they're calling it Fuzzy Peach. It's a peach. It's a beautiful peach, and peach is lovely. And you know what? I'm actually really excited about that because I think that peach is such a light, youthful, energizing sort of color. I enjoy peach. I think it's pretty, and I'm excited that it's going to be filtering down through the different industries in their own ways. Now, as far as the beauty industry goes, I think that with the Pantone color of the year being peach, we're probably going to see a lot more peach blushes and maybe lip glosses, highlighters, maybe some lipsticks, just gentle, lighter, orangey, peachy kinds of tones. I think we're probably going to see a good amount of warm tone stuff because we seem to be coming out of a season of cool toned and pastels and whatnot. So that's kind of what I'm expecting in the new year. I'm personally quite excited about a peach blush. I don't care at all about trends. I really do not care at all. I put on what I want. I have a very small makeup collection outside of eyeshadow palettes. I own 1 blush palette and I think 2 single blushes, one of which is peach, which I'm wearing today. Now, I wear so little blush that you probably can't even tell, but I like the way that I look in peach blush over more pink or berry or red leaning blushes. I feel that those just make me look kind of hot and red-faced, whereas peach makes me look bright, and I like that. So I'm excited about a peach trend, only because even though I don't care about trends, it would indicate that there are really good products coming onto the market in a color story that I like. Now, as far as eyeshadow goes, I did say before that there were a couple of brands that I'm specifically watching. The one I want to talk about today is Cosmic Beauty. They were Cosmic Brushes. I believe they've rebranded as Cosmic Beauty, and everyone knows that the Serenity palette kind of broke the internet. Then they released Muse, which is just as beautiful, a little softer, more quiet, but still gorgeous. Then they released what they were calling the third of the 3 siblings. It was the Delicious Delights palette, mainly pastels, kind of a tropical color story. Then they released the Gothic palette, which was a monochromatic purple in a smaller scale, so it was a smaller palette, followed by their winter release from this year, the Winter Wonderland, which is stunning. It's so beautiful, and I like the Cosmic Beauty formula. It's just, I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to get that palette. It's a lot of blue and purple and not much else. I really wish that that palette were done more like the new Adept, what is it, something 115 palette, where it's a blue and purple as a foundation, but it's got mint and it's got yellowy orangey tones and it's got some green leaning. I feel that I wish that Cosmic Beauty had done that with the Winter Wonderland, because that would have been no questions asked. Absolutely, it's going on my to-buy list when I have a bit of extra money. But anyway, all of that to say, now that they've got their Serenity Muse Delicious Delights trio, they've started to launch a couple more monochromatic palettes, so I'm curious to see if the brand is going to continue that trend. We have the purple, we have the blue and purple. I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll have a red-pink palette, and the one that I'm really kind of waiting for would be a green-yellow palette with perhaps a flash or 2 of brown. I think that Cosmic Beauty would do that incredibly well, and I can envision it, because every time they do packaging, it's stunning, and I can see like a leafy foresty, mossy kind of background, in the same style as their other palettes, but with that sort of color story with a green and yellow and brown. I can imagine it being called something like undergrowth or forest paths or moss or lichen, something like that. And in my mind, it's incredible. So you have no idea how excited I would be if they actually do this. I could see them following through with the more mono or duochromatic color stories and eventually getting to a green and yellow, which are match made in heaven. Some browns for depth and contrast, and everything would be so earthy, kind of like the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay, but without like the blues and the reddish tones, a little bit more concentrated as far as the color story. But it would be done so beautifully. And again, I am envisioning the packaging and I'm mentally drooling over it. It would be incredibly beautiful. So those are just a couple of thoughts that I had as far as what I'm looking for in 2024. I'm hoping that we'll have less glitter in palettes and that some of the indie brands will come down in price a bit by removing one or two of the special shades. They've kind of gone crazy with the special shades, but it also jacks up the price of the palettes, which means that I'm not going to afford it, and I know a lot of other people aren't as well. Like, we actually have bills to pay and food to buy, and inflation isn't helping that. So I hope that some of the indie brands like Herein will remove a couple of their really special shades, pare down the palettes a little bit, and drop the price so that it's more affordable to people in general. Anyway, I could go on for a little while, but I do actually have things to do. I have to get my kids lunch, and I appreciate you so much for being here today. I would love to hear your thoughts, your predictions for 2024. Thank you very much. Thank you for clicking on my video, for visiting my channel. I hope you have enjoyed all of my content in 2023. I hope you're looking forward to some of my ideas for 2024. I already have a couple videos filmed. I do want to remind you that I'm going to be traveling over the new year because my father died, and we're having a memorial service for him. So I may or may not be uploading videos then. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to focus on pre-filming or if I'm going to let it ride for a little while and just give myself a break. I'm not sure, but I will be back. I have lots of ideas. I hope that you have an extremely wonderful, beautiful, and safe New Year's. Be careful, stay healthy, stay well. Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2024. Bye.